Hello, people. What's going on? It's been a long time coming, but Dan Ashworth to Manchester United is almost done. I believe we need to agree compensation with Newcastle, and there is hope that United can bypass a long gardening leave to kind of sort this situation out. Now, Sam, obviously this isn't kind of the transfer that we was expecting post-Christmas, but this is a signing that we absolutely need, right?
Sorry, I didn't realise I was on mute. Yeah. I mean, if you were saying to us we're not getting any signings in January, but we're going to sign one of the best sporting directors around and we're going to get in City's... I don't know if he was on their CEO, was he? But he was doing
just a step below, or chief something.
Yeah, and we're going to sign City's thing. I'd be like, I'm all right with that. I'd be all right with that. So, yeah, it's good news. Really, really good news. And it seems like we're operating really fucking quickly, which is so unlike Manchester United. Normally, we take forever. Everybody knows about it. It's dragged out for about a year to 2 years, and then eventually gets done, and everybody's kind of over it. Whereas this, it's like it came out this morning that we wanted Dan Ashworth, and then all of a sudden it's pretty much almost wrapped up, and we just got to agree the money, and next week he could potentially start. So yeah, excellent news.
A lot of journalists talking about this, didn't they? You've had Simon Jones from the Mail, David Ornstein, Fabrizio Romano's come out and said Manchester United are close to appointing a new director of football. United will hold formal talks with Newcastle for Dan Ashworth very soon. You've had Kevin Thelwell, who's Everton's director of football, saying he's the best director of football this country has produced, which is obviously huge praise. From another colleague there, a guy who's known, for his expertise in talent identification, youth development in football. He's got a high reputation, and he got that reputation by building sustainable football structures wherever he's been, whether it was FA, West Brom, Brighton, and obviously his most recent one with Newcastle at the moment. And the players that he's recruited, Sam, which I'm sure you're very aware of because we've spoken about this before. But I was having a look at a couple of them. I put the thing in the chat. Casado, Cucurella, Trossard, Lamptey, McAllister, Mitoma, all under 20 million quid, and some of them like £2-3 million buys. And collectively, all them players together cost 46 million, which is insane recruitment.
Crazy.
Newcastle as well. You've got Isaac, Tonali, Gordon, Barnes, Livramento, Botman. He has done an insane job with recruitment, and that is exactly what Manchester United need. Would you say that's probably top priority for United, the recruitment? Has to be it, doesn't it?
That's always been the issue of Manchester United, hasn't it? We've always gone for the obvious signings, the players everybody knows about, and then also overpaid to extremes for players that are not worth any kind of the money, and then we overpay them in their wages as well. So that when it comes time, they've not worked out for whatever reason, we try and sell them. We can't, because nobody's willing to pay them the stupid wages that we pay them. So we're just stuck with him forever. And this is what happens. We're now in this FFP situation. We're in this problem. And if it weren't for that, we might be in a better off position. But every other club has this structure where they don't overpay players. They don't end up with stupid things where they can't get rid of players. If they want to get rid of players, they get rid. Liverpool do it. Arsenal have done it. City do it. If you're not good enough or you're a problem, you go. It doesn't matter how good you are. Cancelo, one of the best left backs in the league. Pep's nah, don't want him. Gone.
Yeah.
John Henderson
fully backed on that as well.
John Henderson, captain of Liverpool, absolute icon for them. It was he's been tempted by money. Gone. See you in a bit. That's how it should be, and we don't operate that way. So it's looking like we should be able to operate as a football club with this appointment. That's the hope anyway.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I think the main attractions with this appointment is going to be recruitment. A lot of people are going to focus on that, but there's also the kind of financial acumen, which is going to be another question, because the contracts that you rightly just mentioned there at this club are absolutely ridiculous, tied down to long term. So the Bailly renewal, the Phil Jones, these are just the ones off the top of my head. Martial and De Gea's was a little bit thingy, 2019-20, them kind of things. They're huge decisions as well that go towards the financial benefits of the club.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You sort of look at the way we're structured. It's why is that gone? Sorry, just something's gone off here. It's totally distracted me. There we go. Yeah, you look at the way clubs are structured and stuff like that. It should be for the team and the unit rather than individuals. And I feel like United have gone down this thing of becoming individualistic more than anything. And I don't know why we've done that. Like, I don't understand why we've ended up with a club like this when we had Fergie, who sort of put the club first over everything, and we've kind of lost our way quite a lot. And it's disappointing, but with this new structure, you hope they're going to sort of get back to that feeling where it's like, no matter who the manager is, no matter who the players are, this is Manchester United and this is how we're going to operate.
And the kind of system that's going to be around him as well. Like, obviously, we're heading more and more kind of towards the future now. A lot of talk about analytics and data and even AI being involved and having more of an influence in these kind of situations. Do you see that kind of new, as well as obviously a new sporting director, but these kind of things coming into play as well alongside it as like them kind of futuristic views? Can you see things like that working in football?
Yeah, like, why not? Like, I think data is a really important sort of part of football nowadays. Like, I think you see Liverpool are quite on the cutting edge, aren't they, with this kind of thing? Like, they have like brain scans almost, where they sort of scan their players' heads, like make sure they get enough sleep in before, and then they can modulate, like, okay, if he gets this much sleep, how is he going to perform in X amount of games or this amount of games? And you can use that sort of technology to predict like when a player's peak is, when he needs to rest, when he needs a sort of time and stuff like that. Why is this doing this again? This is proper annoying me.
Proper sports science you're talking about there, isn't it? Like, that is down to the wire when you come to data.
And this is what Sir Dave Brailsford's made his name doing. Like, he was in cycling.
Small margins.
And it's like small margins, and then they add up into a bigger margin. And what he was doing was small stuff like, say, a cyclist, if he brings the pillow from home that he sleeps on, he gets a better night's sleep. And if he gets a better night's sleep, it means he performs better. So it's just little stuff like that United don't even think of. Like, I believe like when Lukaku was at United, they didn't realise he was lactose intolerant. So they were just giving him dairy all the time and wondering why he was like fatiguing and stuff like that. And it's just like, do we not think about this stuff? Like, do we not, like, we're the biggest club in the world. Why are we not doing this? Like, it's bizarre to me.
No, the finer details definitely count. I've seen that with a number of situations at United, even down to the medical things, certain way people being treated and coming back. And I think the finer details, that's why I'm a fan of this kind of small margin philosophy, because it absolutely makes sense. You make little kind of positive, positive additions in each element, and everything raises itself together then. Yeah. And I think it just absolutely makes sense. Another thing I wanted to focus on as well was the youth academy, because obviously we've been talking a lot recently that some of the players we've got at the moment, I know some of them didn't come through the academy, but the young players in Garnacho, Højlund, Ahmad, Kobe, like, we have got some players that could be there for kind of like the next 10 years. Do you think, we mentioned that recruitment's obviously going to be the priority, but as well as that, the academy and the youngsters should be the main focus, do you think, over the next 5 years? Because you've seen players saving fucking hundreds of millions of pounds bringing through, players of their own.
But that's what United was originally about, wasn't it? Like, back in the day, like, I think we're the only club who's had a youth academy prospect in the squad since like 1930 something. Like, it's insane.
Great
the
record
that we have. And this is what we're about. Like, this is the reason Sir Alex built his legacy on. The class of 92, he built his legacy on this. This is the reason he is who he is. Like, he took a chance on these like 5 lads who nobody had heard of, came through the academy, all mostly local lads as well, like from the Manchester area. And there's the famous Alan Hansen thing, is you don't win anything with kids. And look what he did, look what he built. And I just think we've gotten away from that in the last couple of years. Like, we've had Rashford come through, who obviously, but that was sort of through circumstance due to injury. But like, can you remember like academy prospect post Fergie that's come round where you're like, this kid's got something?
Even sales as well. When you look at what City have done, I think they released the figures, didn't they, recently? I mean, people would kind of be dubious about it because of the figures being released by Man City, but they're saying like £400 million worth in sold talent. You've seen like James Trafford go. Players like Cole Palmer to Chelsea and all these kind of guys. So not even just being promoted into the first team, like getting a decent sale out of him. I think the highest one we've probably sold, to my knowledge, off the top of my head, is Jimmy Garner, probably 15 mil.
Probably.
Is there anyone else that's gone for more? Like, I can't think off the top of my head. So that needs to improve as well, because if you do that, we're talking about pure profit here, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think you can also save yourself money in the transfer market and going forward. Like, you don't have to worry so much like, oh, we need to spend X amount on this midfielder or this thing. It's just like, well, have we got anybody in the academy that can do this job?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we got Kobbie Mainoo. So it's like, that's a 70, 80 million pound buy that you don't have to then purchase, and it can go to another area. Like, it just makes so much sense to utilize your academy, and we don't utilize it for bizarre reasons. I don't know why. Like, because you'd think the Glazers be all over it. It saves them money. They don't have to spend anything. So you think you'd use it, but it's
so
bizarre.
The issue is United being the club that they are, because they demand success straight away, and there isn't patience and time. It's hard for a youngster unless they're top level, like a Garnacho and like a Mainoo, who can go straight into the team almost. It's hard to find that. I think we have some good talent in the academy, but I'm saying, like, previously over the past couple of years, there's not been obvious ones where I've been like, apart from obviously Greenwood, who's gone to Getafe, which would be a pure profit sale, and these kind of things. I think McTominay, if you sold him in a summer pure profit sale, you'd probably get a decent amount for him now. So apart from that, there's no real obvious ones, but it's having the right environment around and having the right players around so they grow properly, because we could have had a talent at the club who's probably moved on. He was done really, really well in his career, but just couldn't succeed at United just simply because of the circumstance that surrounded him. They still go on to have really good careers, but we need to... I think that is the next kind of priority on the list for me. Just really, really focus on that. And everyone loves an academy player. Everyone loves it. One of their own, you know, they come through. It means a lot to them. They play for the shirt more. Like, it's just a normal thing. We see it all the time.
They get more patience from the fans as well. Like, if you like Anthony, for example, he's come in 75 million from Ajax, and everybody's like, right, this kid has to do something. And for 2 seasons, he's done nothing. And fans are pretty fed up already because you've cost that amount of money. And it's just thing. Whereas if you're like, say, Kobbie Mainoo, and you're 18 and you come in and you sort of just, you have a bit of a stumble or a bit of thing, fans are so much more forgiving because he's one of our own, he's come through the academy, he's cost nothing, and we expect him to make mistakes, and we're all right with it. Like, it's better all round, man. Like, it's so much better.
I feel like a lot of people was like that with McTominay. McTominay got a lot of leeway, especially when he was playing as a defensive midfielder, which people might say, you know, he got asked to do a job there, whatever it is, what it is. But he got a lot of leeway, especially from like the kind of match-going fans, simply because he was one of their own and because he came through the cut. Same with Marcus Rashford.
I was going to say,
him, don't you?
I think Rashford's got. I think if we had bought him for 50, 60 million, I think he might be on his way out because he just hasn't performed. Like, he hasn't performed, but because he's an academy graduate and he has done bits in the past, he's getting probably more leeway than he probably should. Like, we're already to hound Anthony out of the club after 2 seasons, Jadon Sancho after 3. Like, do you know what I mean? So you do get more leeway.
There is proof in the team right now that you don't have to go spend 80, 90, 100 million quid on a player. You don't, because Kobbie's 18. Like we said, saving yourself 60, 70, 80 million quid in today's market for that kind of a player at that age, which is outrageous. Garnacho cost us 10 million quid. From was it Atletico?
Atletico, Atletico.
Yeah, from Atletico Madrid. Like, little signings like that, you get 3 or 4 of them in a window, or even over the course of 2 summer windows, you save yourself so much fucking money, and then you can kind of, if you really need your De Jongs of the team or them kind of guys, then you can go get them and no mind at all. So it just makes
that's
sense.
how you should structure a team. You should structure it. It should be like people who know what the shirt is, know what the club's about, academy prospect, and then once you get that sort of spine and stuff like that, then you start sparkling in the top class players and bring them into a setup establishment and a setup thing. Like, that's when you sort of bring it. Say you've got like your Kobbie Mainoo ready to go, Shea Lacey, Cambuala, whoever you want, and then they're like, this team's starting to tick, starting to work, and then you're like, right, we can go get Frankie de Jong now because this will be the cherry on the cake, so to speak, and everything else. Well, that's when you start winning titles, when you start doing that thing. But we're trying to buy the cherry before the cake's even fucking made. Like, we've not even got the right ingredients, and we're trying to put the cherry on top with like Sancho buys or Wan-Bissaka buys for 50, 70 odd million. It's just like, we're not ready yet. Like, we're not there yet. We need to build this team first, and with this new structure that we're getting going on, that's what it's going to do. Exciting. Hopefully.
It is. It kills me to say it, but Liverpool's a perfect example. Like, you look at the players like Curtis Jones, who are getting regular game time in the midfield now. Harvey Elliott is another one. The wing back, I can't believe I forgot his name because he had such a good performance the other day.
Oh, Bradley. Conor Bradley.
Bradley, is it? Yeah, Conor Bradley, another one. But then they're blending that with a Van Dijk, with a Mo Salah.
Even City do it. You got Rico Lewis, you got Oscar Bob.
Yeah.
Like, you got people
exactly
like they're doing it. Like, it's not like it's a weird thing to do. Like,
Foden being the shining fucking example of that. Like, it's definitely the right way to go. That's kind of ties in with. I wanted to speak about like long-term vision, if that's going to align with Erik ten Hag's kind of vision. Now, we don't know if they're going to bump heads or whatever, but what's your overarching feeling with them two working together? Can you see that being a long-term partnership, the way ten Hag kind of sees his team and the way Dan Ashworth recruits? Like, how do you think that kind of partnership's going to work?
I think because he's been under that structure before, hasn't he, at Ajax? Like, he had that structure before with Overmars and Edwin van der Sar. They were the two people. Yeah. They were the two people above him, weren't they? They were just like, right, these are the, like, so Van der Sar's handling the financial and player signing and stuff like that. And then Overmars is one head of recruitment, identifying talent, all that sort of stuff. So that was the structure he had, and he was a tracksuit manager. Like, that's why United got him, because he was able to spend all his time on the training ground, all his time with the players, developing a style, developing a way to play, and winning titles and getting to Champions League semi-finals, because he didn't have to worry about all this other shit, because Overmars and Van der Sar were handling it, and they brought through some of the best players that got picked apart by all of Europe's elite. Like, they built a team and it just got torn apart because of how good these players were, and some of them are European giants right now. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like, he knows how to build a team, but I think when he came to United, he realised he don't have that structure, so he's like, I'm going to have to do all this myself. I'm just going to have to, like, think. And when you're in that sort of situation, he's looked to players that he's like, I trust, I've worked with them, I know what they're about, and that's what he's gone for, rather than going, having a structure around and going, what sort of talent you look for, what sort of style of play you're looking for. We'll go out, find them, bring them to you, and you could be like, yeah, this kid, this guy. Yeah. And then they go out and execute it, which is probably what he had at Ajax. But here he's just like going, right, I know Lissandro, so let's get him. I work with Anthony, let's get him. Onana, I know him, I need a new goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? It's a strange way of doing things for me.
Definitely.
Like, Klopp didn't want Mo Salah. Like, that's the most famous thing, did he? Like, he didn't ask for Mo Salah. He was like, no, I don't fancy him. But Liverpool bought him anyway, and now probably one of their best players of all time.
Yeah,
like, that's how it should work. It should be for the team rather than individuals. And I think he's going to have to take a step back and relinquish some power, I think, to succeed at United under this new structure. And if he doesn't, then he'll probably find himself on the way out. But he needs to sort of realise the change that is going on, and hopefully he's open to it, and hopefully he sees that as, okay, I can relax a little bit. I don't have to have this responsibility over here. I can just focus on the team and just focus on managing them, which is what you want him to do.
The one thing that worries me in the back of my mind, I've just got like visions of Graham Potter, because I've heard, Ratcliffe and Brailsford are a fan of him. Obviously, Dan Ashworth had worked with him at Brighton. I just don't want this to be. I don't think Graham Potter's necessarily the right guy. So I hope him and Erik ten Hag can function a relationship, and they can both work on it and get to a point where it's like, we saw all that stuff coming out with Erik ten Hag, where they're saying, it's going to have a veto on certain transfers, and it's like, no, don't fucking give, like, Pep, with perfect example, said to his guy, I need an insane dribbler, a winger who's capable of beating 2-3, really, really good 1v1. Europe, French League, Doku, Bop, it's in a bit. 40 to 50 million quid. Absolute bargain. That's what we need. Ten Hag to say, this is the style of player that I want. This is the kind of the traits that I want him to have.
Yeah.
Go look for me. Come back from Europe, see what you can find. Let me know the price range, and then we'll have a talk. That's how it should be done. That is how recruitment is done.
Not even Europe. Like, look at Brighton. They're identifying this talent in South America.
Yes.
Like, they're finding gems for, like, absolutely zero money. Or in Asia and stuff like that. There's been a lot of sort of Korean talent come through in the last couple of years. Like, you got Heung-min Son, you got Hwang Lee-chan at Wolves.
Mitoma.
Like, Mitoma is from Japan. Like, you've seen this talent come through. So you don't have to just go to the biggest teams in Europe and try and buy their best stars. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, there's other ways of doing this, and I think we've been starved of that for so long, because every year it's just like we're linked with what, like, papers just go, all right, who's a big player looking for a move, like, let's just link him with United, because that's what we do, and it's sad.
I'm pretty sure, like, Leicester's system, when they found Kante,
Yes.
I'm pretty sure he was playing for like a team
Mahrez.
in 3rd division in France. Mahrez as well. Yeah, there are gems out there. You need the networks and the partnerships to find them. Just quickly on Dan Ashworth, Ornstein's put something out 2 minutes ago, saying Dan Ashworth has informed Newcastle that Manchester United have approached him relating to sporting director role at Old Trafford. Club's not yet in formal contact, but expected soon. United would need to pay Newcastle significant compensation for the 52-year-old. I think that's interesting, isn't it? And just on Ashworth as well, he's had the right grounding, and the steps taken to get to United. If you think quite literally done it perfectly. You've got the English FA background, everything that he did over there. Then West Brom, Brighton, Newcastle, United. They are the steps that you need to take. And I think you'd have to be fascinated by the challenge, wouldn't you? How could that not sway anyone? The opportunity to take Manchester United back with the biggest club in the world, certainly the biggest club in England, back to European glory, that on your CV is as good as anything, isn't it?
Well, that's why someone like Omar Barada came. He's at one of the most successful clubs in the world. Legally and legality wise, you can question all of that, and whether to you, but on paper they've won everything, won a treble, got the best players, and he chose to leave. It's why would he choose to leave? It's just obviously the pull of United and the pull of rebuilding United and the pull of making them bigger and better again is obviously bigger. So City can win all the trophies they want, and they can do all the players they want. They can have Haaland, blah blah, whoever. But if United come a calling, a lot of people find that hard to resist, and the proof's there.
Well, Jamie Jackson put something out today actually, which kind of leads perfectly into it. He said apparently Dan Ashworth is impressed by Manchester United's appointment of Omar Barada, and it actually feels, I don't know if you kind of a real life Avengers that we're seeing here with the people that United are recruiting. I'm interested to see if there's anybody. Do you feel like anybody else could come in now? Because apparently there's going to be more appointments after this. That I'm sure I've seen an article. It might have been from Uppertiers actually mentioning that.
Yeah, they might. I think there'll be some people underneath Dan Ashworth. I imagine.
Yeah, so not the obvious sparkly ones in that sense. Yeah.
I'd love to see him and Paul Mitchell together, but apparently Paul Mitchell's been ruled out, so it is what it is. But yeah, I imagine there'll be scouts or heads of recruitment or team leaders of recruitment teams who are in different countries, etc. I imagine that all that sort of structure is now being looked at. And if I was them, I'd just be right, who are Brighton scouts in the scouting team? Just go.
Yeah.
Go. How much money do you want? Yeah, we'll double it. Just come to United, because they clearly know what they're doing. They clearly identify talent extremely well. So just go get the best in class, and the best sort of team for unearthing gems in talent at the minute is Brighton. It was Southampton for a while. They were sort of finding people like Van Dijk and Mane and stuff like that. And then it was, like you said, it was Leicester with Kante and Mahrez. Brighton are a darling team in a bit. They're finding these gems and finding these talents. So it's why don't you not go have a look at them? There's a lot of comments. Have you got the chat? Or?
Yes, please. No, I've not. Right. Sorry, go for
Let's
it.
Read some comments. Charlie Balmer must admit to one thing. Ineos do not waste time, do they, if they've not gotten already to... Yeah, they're not fucking about, mate. They are not fucking about. M. Barner, Ineos deal better than Qatar. Qatar wouldn't have got a structure like this with a splash cost, but got nowhere. Possibly. Really possibly. Yeah, it could have happened.
We'll never know.
No. Disco Stu, Dan Ash has proven his stock at Newcastle, so the next step be a world-class club like United. Yeah, Nick's just mentioned that. Do you think they'll keep Ten Hag? Worried they'll go for Graham Potter? That's from Rashby. Nick was just sort of mentioning that as well. Our structure's always been poor, overplaying for dog shit players, contract sky high. Now hopefully that shouldn't happen with a structure. Ten Hag has no more excuses if he doesn't pull up. So there you go. We're getting the best in class, making huge moves. That's from UTFR. Shout out to UTFR. Ten Hag has to have some input. It won't work, but we can't let him bring any more of his mates in. Yeah, I agree. Do you think Bruno will be kept around after next season? I think he's been made captain, so I don't see him going anywhere, to be honest with you, but stranger things have happened. M. Barney, get rid of Rashford and get Vinny Jr. I don't think Nick could handle that. I don't think he'd be able to handle it.
I don't think United could handle that transfer, let alone me.
Potter's a good manager, but I won't be happy if Eric doesn't work out. Wasn't Ashworth at Brighton? Yes, he was. John Merton needs to go. Well, I think he's fucking gone by this point. If this is happening, isn't it?
He'll linger. He will linger.
He could put Cones out. He could put Cones out or something.
Yeah.
Do you want to lose? I think we're going to produce a few great academy products in our first team next season. Yeah, our academy at the minute is smashing it. I think they're unbeaten in the league, I believe, 18 games, I think. So they're doing really well. And then UTFR get Ralph back in. I'd love that. I'd love Ralph back in. But
well, MUFC MPB have just retweeted something saying not just Ashworth, Julian Ward too. Apparently, as like the assistant sporting director.
Who's it? Where's he? Where's Julian Ward from?
Liverpool. So he took over from Michael Edwards at Liverpool, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
But then has now left, I think, and I was leaving with Klopp or someone will know in the chat anyway. I'm not entirely clued up. I thought it was the guy from Germany, but I was just looking into it then.
Oh, the Bayern Munich guy.
Yeah, that's who I thought it was originally. But Ward spent 11 years at Liverpool, latterly as the club sporting director, but decided to step down only months after succeeding Michael Edwards, apparently. So, yeah, look, I think it's fair to say, just to kind of finish off on this Ashworth story, Ineos are not messing about with this at all, and it's not a shiny signing, it's not a De Jong, it's not a Vinny Junior, it's not anything like that, but
important.
I think a lot of people will say it's almost more important than any player you can get at the moment, because long term we're looking at the future United trying to get back to the top, getting someone in like him, getting someone in like Omar Barada, and if you can get another appointment alongside that, you've got kind of Jean-Claude Blanc floating about the place, Brailsford doing his thing. It seems promising, and that is so nice to have that. And we keep mentioning the summer, but it's so interesting in its and the things we'll be covering during the summer, like the changes that they're making. And actually, we're not going to be going into this now, are we? With a thought like, oh, we're gonna, fucking back and forth with players, end of the window. You know exactly what's going to happen. Reactionary. Yeah. We planned this all along. This is who who's going to get. No more of that bullshit. No. Hopefully.
I'm hoping there was a couple of stuff that came out with like players and what have you, like last couple of days. Whether they're true or not, I don't know. But like, say they are. Say we're looking at Pedro Neto. Say we're looking at Michael Elise. Say we're looking at Branthwaite, Todibo, Antonio Silva. I would love for it to come like May and then beginning of June, and it's just like bang bang one after the other. It's like United have announced signing of Jared Branthwaite for 50 million. Then the following week, God. United have announced signing of Pedro Neto, and then we don't sign any. Like we signed 4 or 5 players all before August. And then they're all on pre-season tour. And we're just like, what the fuck's happening? What's going on?
Exactly.
This is amazing.
That's such a good point, because last pre-season you had, was it just Onana and then...
Malacia.
We signed Mount first, didn't we? I think.
Yeah, and then the one before, it was just Malacia. Malacia was the only one.
Fucking shocking, yeah, absolutely shocking. Like I said, they're a reactive club, proactive. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think one thing you will definitely see now over the next couple of months leading up to summer is being linked with Newcastle players, being linked with Brighton players. Yeah. I mean, anywhere Dan Ashworth's been, we are going to get linked with them players. Yeah. I'm telling you right now. So be prepared for that. But I think the recruitment strategy is definitely going to change, and I can't wait to see who they go for. Just before we finish off, Sam, I just seen a thing before earlier on Twitter, and I just wanted to kind of discuss it. Completely different to what we've just been talking about. But Andre Onana, okay, a lot of people raving about this, has saved an expected 7.68 goals in the Premier League, which is more than any other keeper in the league, right?
Yeah.
Please tell people why this is a misleading stat, or if you believe it's a misleading stat, because things like that, when people put it out on Twitter, Statman Dave does it quite a lot, and he's like, he'll put stats and put sensational, and like, how do you feel about him? Do you feel like he's turned it around, or are you still not sold on him as a goalkeeper?
I think he clearly has faults, and I think we've seen that. Like, he's the reason why we're not in the Champions League. Like, let's have it right. Like, there's no other reason other than him. Like, because we were in the lead for like 3/4 of those games, and we chucked it away, and it wasn't a good Bayern Munich side whatsoever, and we could have had them, and the reason we're not there is because of Andre Onana. He's the reason we lost to Galatasaray. So it's like, do you sort of been in there? In the Premier League, he's made some really good saves, and I've been impressed with it, but then there's been just weird moments of like playing out from the back and then not having the right touch or the right decision making. The way he sets himself for saves leaves him open to things, and then claiming crosses, any sort of cross that comes in the box or a free kick that goes across the 6-yard. Sometimes he comes to get it and just absolutely misses it and clatters a player. Other times he don't come off his line at all, and then it just in the back of the net. So I don't know. The Champions League, I'm worried because if we end up in the Champions League next year, I don't want to see that again. I don't want to crash out again.
It was rough, wasn't it? It was rough, really, really rough. That.
So I feel like he'll get another season because I think David De Gea had a really rough season the first season he came in, and then after that was one of the best goalkeepers in the world. After that, like in Europe and the world. So I think he'll get another season. But if he does another season next season like that, I think he. Are
you happy for him to get another season?
It's like, who'd you go get? Who'd you go get? Like, Tottenham identified a really good talent. I think Vicario is a very good goalkeeper.
Yeah,
I think they identified a really good talent, and then the other best goalkeepers play for our rivals in Liverpool and City. It's like, you're not getting that, Maya. How old's Noah Newer now? He's like, what, in his late 30s? So
it's fucking,
you know what I mean?
Aged, mate. Not aged.
Oblak and then Ter Stegen at Barca. It's just like, it's tricky, man. Like, you'd have to go and get a young up and coming goalkeeper, and then you've got to give him time to get used to things and stuff like that. So it's tricky, man. It's really
almost
tricky.
An impossible recruitment job, in it, like to get a keeper like that. I think, look, after the which game was it where I was going absolutely fucking mad? I think it was the Galatasaray one with the Ziyech, the free kicks. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing, and I was like, I'm done with this guy after the game. So I'm absolutely done. I don't understand how anyone can make that many mistakes in a single campaign, and I think we've conceded the most goals in that group stage out of any group stage from United.
I think we scored the most as well. I think we were.
I know, how weird was that group stage? It was so fucking strange, and I've seen things in him where I'm like, yeah, really good, and I've seen bits, but like, we brought him in as a ball playing goalkeeper, and at times when he's passing out and it just goes out for a throw in and he's completely missed his man, I'm like, I know you can miss passes sometimes and it happens in football, but that's the whole reason why you brought, because we were so frustrated with De Gea of the way he was doing it. We've brought you in to do that. And we had the Sandro win, we had Varane in, and it just didn't seem, I don't know, it doesn't seem like he's fully confident at the moment, I don't think.
I think Ten Hag wanted Leacher, and I think Leacher and Onana was going to be the key to playing out from the back. So I think when Lissandro was back in, you saw that a lot more. He was able to take the ball, turn, and then go, and we saw that happen. And then Leach is out again, and you've got in front of him, you've got Harry Maguire, who playing out from the back. You've seen it don't work. He can't do it. He's not quick. He's not mobile and stuff like that. And then Luke Shaw is the only other player who's capable of doing it. And now he's unreliable. Like, I put a stat in the group chat. I think he's not managed over 70% availability for like a long time. I think the last time he did it was Ten Hag's first season, but before that it was 50%. Before that it was 50%. Before that he had the leg break, and then this season it's below 70%. So like his availability isn't great either. So it's just like his whole structure around him isn't helping him. But he does have to do better with his shot stopping, his saving and stuff like that. He has to do better. Claiming,
that's one thing. Claiming crosses, oh my fucking god!
He has to work on that. Like, he has to do better. And he seems like a confident guy. He seems like he's very, very believes in himself. Doesn't
got the right personality for it.
So I hope he turns it round, and I think he'll get another opportunity next season. I do believe he'll get another opportunity next season. But I think with Ineos involved, I think we're not going to see United hold on to players unnecessarily. Like, you know, for years and years and years. Like, Anthony Martial's been in it for 9 years. He should have gone about 4 or 5 years ago. Like, he should have. Phil Jones was here for God knows how long. It's just like, he should have gone. And I hope for, like, with Ineos, it's just like people like Anthony. It's just like, right, it ain't working. Like, let's just cut our ties. Let's just go. And I'm hoping it'll be the same in Onana. Like, if next season Onana's just not cutting it, much like Pep when he brought Bravo in, he's like, this ain't working. Get rid. Hopefully Ineos are more with on that thing. It's just like, right, this ain't working. Let's just let's scout someone properly who's going to work, who we know, and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully that's the trend going forward.
The thing with Onana is he's only 27, I think, 20, younger than me, which is just mad. And he cost 40 odd million quid, I think it was. So he's definitely still got a resale value. Someone will take a punt on Onana, I'm telling you that now. For 30 million quid at least. So you're not taking a huge loss on Onana, even if you need to sell him. So if you need to bring in another keeper, so be it. But in the past couple of games, I would admit he's quietly gone under the radar. I've said that a couple of times on the pros and cons. Like he's been pretty good. But
have we got a buyback for who's the guy we sold?
Kovar.
Yeah, we got a buyback.
I wish. I fucking wish.
We do that.
We seem to have put a buyback with everybody else other than him. That's will always. Bizarre.
Is that a worse? If we got a buyback, is there a worse idea if like Onana don't work, buy back on Kovar?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Just never made sense to me. That never ever did. But hey ho, it is what it is. What day are we currently on at the moment? Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got Luton on Sunday. We'll have another members video dropping at some point this week. We'll have obviously the preview for Luton on Friday, I think it should be.
Yeah.
And we're working on a couple of people coming in on a show as well. So if you can, we'll read out some more comments before we go.
Yeah.
But if you can, smash a like on the video for us, subscribe to the channel, and if you know any friends, family, whatever who like watching footballing content, please do send them this channel and let us know what you think as well. Feedback in the comment section.
Yeah, absolutely. Mbana, I'd rather have Bold signing 10 Hag signings. He only plays his favourites if they work out or not. I think there was an element of truth to that, but he has dropped Anthony as of recently because Garnacho was playing.
It took him a while though.
Yeah, it did take him a while. I agree, but he has dropped him. Like he has. So I think he is stubborn, and I think he probably gives him more opportunities than they probably deserve.
Definitely.
But he has done it. Discuss the way they've started. I won't be surprised if Union are already preparing for summer, chomping at the bit when it comes to mind. Yeah, I think they already know what their targets are and stuff like that. I think we're just waiting for official ratification, which they have now got, to sort of go, right, get the recruitment guy in and we can start doing this. So I think that's it. Dino Lewis Onana got a touch of Barthez about him. Yeah, can see that. Could definitely see that. Barthez was
many comparisons. Yeah,
he's a bit mental. He's a bit mental, isn't he? If we had Lissandro in the Champions League, would have got through. I don't even think Lissandro would have helped the Champions. I just think Onana was at fault for all of those. So
Ziyech free kicks in that Galatasaray game. I just can't. Yeah. It's like my brain's scarred from that game. Yeah. It really, really is.
Dino, let's go get that guy from China who was linked with China. The Japanese guy, not the Chinese guy. Japanese guy. Suzuki.
Yeah, I actually did a video on him. I don't know. Fucking got it. Yeah, Zion.
Yeah.
Suzuki. Yeah.
I think we did offer him, but I think he said no. He said no because and he wanted to play like game in game out, which he wasn't going to get.
He regrets that now.
Ahmad needs game time. 10 minutes against Forest was brilliant. Don't get Nick started on that.
Don't even mention Ahmad with anyone from this thing because you'll just spark a whole fucking debate up again in the chat.
Yeah. Sell or keep McTominay. I don't want to slander McTominay anymore. I don't.
He's done what he needs to.
Yeah.
Like, do whatever you want, Scott, mate.
Yeah.
Take the fucking summer off.
Mate, I don't want to slander him anymore because the amount of goals and the amount of shit he saved us then.
Fair play. And also, 100 quid in my pocket to him as well. So
there you go. Juddy Sports, did you guys see the report United appeared to offer higher compensation originally so Ashworth wouldn't go on gardening leave and deal? Yeah, we sort of mentioned that at the beginning, that we're just working out compensation with them so he can start immediately, because otherwise I think he wouldn't be able to start till 2025 if we just did it the regular channels, which is not what you want. You don't want to delay it for another year. Bring back Greenwood. We would be in top four, and I reckon Ineos will bring him back. I don't think they do. I don't think they go near that. I just think it's a PR nightmare. It's like new owners coming in there like, oh yeah, let's bring him back, when there was an absolute backlash from the fans last time. I don't think they'll do it.
Yeah, I was always of the opinion. I felt like they would, but I don't know. I just think if you can get a pure sale for him, 50 million quid.
Yeah,
again, you
it's
talk
just
about
cleaner.
FFP.
It's just cleaner, isn't it? Like you can just sort of be like, right, it's done now. And I think it hung around like such a bad stain when John Murtaugh and Richard Arnold were like filming videos ready for his thing, and the way they were shot, like it was horrible.
Using certain words and all that kind of shit.
It left such a bad taste in your mouth. I just think Ineos don't want to be associated with any of that, so they're just going to be like, no, let's just sell it.
But stranger things have happened also.
Yeah.
So
like if it happens, it happens. But I just think they're going to avoid that. Juddy Sports Greenwood for 50 million to a top team in Spain. I'll take that. If Atletico want to pay 50 million for him, cool. I'm down with that. Happy with it.
If Barcelona want to do a De Jong swap deal, I'm also down for that as well. So
they're not going to be able to pay him. Like what the fuck?
No.
honest to God, I could do an entire show on what the fuck are Barcelona doing, because that club is mental.
We're being run bad. Take a look at Barcelona, because that is crazy what's going on over there at the moment. Like stadium and all that shit.
Garnacho, Højlund, Elise would cook. Yeah, who was it in the group chat that likes Elise? Is it Aaron? He likes Elise.
There's a few of them, but just on Elise, we was talking about Luke Shaw before and his injury record and the consistency and not having players available. Elise injury record's pretty bad.
Yeah,
I think I spoke about this yesterday when I did the live on TikTok. As someone asked me about Elise, and I was like, I think it's a trend signing. I just feel like a lot of people are jumping on. Everyone's like, this guy, I'd do this. He'd be great for this. I like him as a player, but it wouldn't be my first option personally.
It was like the other one, Pedro Neto, who I like a lot as a player, but he hasn't completed 20 games in a season for like the last 4 seasons. He won't be available. Like, he just won't be available. And he's a good player. I like him a lot. Like, I think when I watch him, he's exciting, but he's never going to be available. Like, he's just never going to be fit. So it's just why?
We need that so bad. We need consistency so bad. If you can get players with injury records like Bruno Fernandes or Garnacho or anyone like that, then even better. That's the last thing I want.
Juddy Sports, when is James due back on? Imagine the News is getting his light now in the latest news. We're going to try and get him on next week. I've messaged him. Yeah. He said to give him a drop-in message on Monday, so I'm going to try and get him on next week. So we'll try and get him on. And we're also going to get Jay Motti on as well. Been chatting to him, so I'm going to try and get Jay Motti on from Panic
also,
as well.
Alice Abrams is supposed to be coming on at some point.
Yes.
So. Yeah, we spoke to a couple of people, and we'll be filling that out across. Like we mentioned a couple of days ago, the content's going to be slightly changing a little bit from your kind of daily news show. We're trying to mix it up, make it a bit more interactive, entertaining, all that kind of jazz. So hopefully you are enjoying it, and leave a like in the video if you have.
Couple of last comments. Greenwood for De Jong. Yeah, Nick just mentioned that. Swap him. There you go. Sorted. Which is signed João Neves, Benfica, top player. I've heard a lot about him. I've not watched him, but I've heard a lot about him.
Serious talent. Serious talent.
Yeah.
Right, we'll leave it at that, guys. We'll see you tomorrow again. Same usual time, probably maybe a little bit later, 8 o'clock due to work hours, unfortunately. So make sure you come and join us. Drop us a follow on socials if you don't already. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and even Facebook. We're on there as well. And stay locked in. Smash a like on the video, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.